Hey guys, Melman here with the Alchemist Duo. We're going to be discussing a lot of stuff in this video today. So, we're going to be talking about the pack calendar for July. We're going to be talking about some other endeavors in the personal Little Alchemist world for myself. And we're going to be doing a lot of discussion of a lot of things we got to see in the last few days regarding future updates. So, stay tuned for some of that. Um, This is the July pack calendar here. If you're new here, red means repeat in 2024, yellow means brand new in 2024, and blue means the pack has been reworked either with new Onyx cards, backfills, or stat changes to final forms. So that's really about all we got there. So let's go through this, shall we? So we have the meta pack with GCC card, OCC multiples, the Mon pack with GCC Pocket Pet, OCC Dragon, the Combat pack with GCC War and OCC Villain, the Bloody pack with GCC Blood and OCC Earth, the Jungle pack with GCC Jungle and OCC Prehistoric, the Oceania pack, which was reworked, was GCC Fish and now new OCC Underwater. Underwater and Fish also got backfills in this pack, as well as some stat changes for Sea Witch, Swordfish, Laser Shark, and not in this pack, Squirt Gun, in the Fun pack, as you can see later in the month. But those were all the changes that happened there. Moving into Aviary pack with GCC Bird and OCC Wind. Melody pack with GCC Music and OCC Monster. Fantasy pack with GCC Precious Ring Lore and OCC Fairy Tale. Tortoise pack with GCC Turtle and OCC Death. Fun pack with GCC Toy and OCC Bear. The Summertide pack, the brand new pack for July with GCC Summertide and OCC Arcade, with Arcade getting some backfills and a stat change for Turtle King, one of the final forms, I believe, in the Tortoise pack. Maybe it's in the Commander pack. And then closing out the month with Wizarding pack, which is GCC Wizarding School and OCC Magic. And then the Mythos pack with GCC Myth and OCC Food. Overall, you can see there's a lot of red in this calendar. I would like that to change in future months, but I'm just kind of setting myself up for disappointment in that front. A couple of new Onyx cards, which is always nice, but this, in the long and short of it, is it's the July pack calendar. So we'll move into some of the next segments of the video here. So at the beginning of the month, I managed to get an Onyx Goblin King. You've seen the footage here. Always hoping for an Onyx combo card. Unfortunately, in this case, I did not get an Onyx combo card. So kind of sad times here, but I did end up getting GCC Immortality. So it's a little bit more defensive of a card, but not terrible. So it'll just go on the backlog. So there's that. And one of the packs I wanted at the very end of the month is actually Mythos, the pack I'm going to be opening right now. Obviously, my goal was to solely get infused food. As you can see from these first few pack pulls, food does not show up for me, so I actually do have to do a little bit more in terms of, well, if you want to make sure you get it right, making sure we get the pack, more packs, and everything else. And if you can tell by the tone of my voice, it unfortunately did take me all 14 packs for me to get this card, and yeah, that makes me a little bit sad. So, well, here's the rest of me eternal suffering and getting this on pack 14. So, yeah, no fun, but oh well. So, we did get our Resident Monty in the Discord a little bit. We actually got some pretty significant changes to or not changes, but proposed changes for heroics. Thank goodness, because that's one of the ones that just needed to be changed for so long. So Monty came on, gave us a little bit of an update with stuff that he shared with his dev team. So just looking at some things here, kind of the main things that are going to change for heroics include progression rewards, tiers and rewards, the vault, and vault pricing, all of which he will actually give some details on in a little bit right here. So we did get to see with the vault, they're removing the rare final form, the diamond final form 2, the common boost, and the uncommon boost options, all of which were very unpopular options. Expanding the Onyx and rare combo cards to include all the new combo cards. Adding a portal boss pack that allows us to purchase portal boss DFFs. And changing the boost packs to triple rare boosts. Progression rewards. The first time you defeat a boss during a heroic season, receiving between 5 and 20 golden skulls, with a complete run netting 400 golden skulls. And then he did give us a graphic for the new tiers and the new rewards associated with them, basically helping out new players get some more skulls. But an important note is that the progression rewards and the tier rewards are cumulative. So you could get 400 golden skulls from the full clear, and you could also get, with the new system, 400 additional skulls, which, man, tell you what, that's actually pretty freaking crazy. It's pretty wild. So as you can see, here's the new versus the old ranks. So some changes in the tier sizes, which I still don't think changes some of the issues, but we'll go into those in a little bit. Basically, changing the tiers, but massively changing the Onyx fragments. As you can see, the 400 to 350 to 300 to 250 to 200 to 150 to 100 to 150, or to 50, because I can't talk. Huge change. So basically, top 1500 is getting at least a 60% increase in skulls, just if you're in that top 1500. But overall, very significant changes, and the Onyx fragments are changing as well. So that's really, really awesome to see there. So I will give my thoughts on all of that in a very short period of time while we cue some classic Melman Arena gameplay here in just a moment. So what do I think about all of these heroics changes? I think it's going to be really good for the outcome of the game. I think it's going to be really nice for a game mode that has really largely been unchanged since its conception. I think it's going to help both newer players and older players kind of work through heroics, get better rewards faster. I think that things are just going to be really overall better, but I do expect the pack prices to be upgraded somewhat, because obviously keeping everything where it is right now is just not going to make any sort of sense for the outcome of the game, or really for the purposes of, Monumental making money, which I understand they also are doing that as well. I think the progress-based rewards are excellent, because that means people aren't just getting gypped out of everything. And I also feel like the updated rewards for the top brackets is just going to help people, have a desire to finish heroics and kind of push for that top 25. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that fixes part of the issue, but I think in not fixing part of the issue, I think it also does well, where, the issue right now is that full clears do not get 100% of every single reward. I think that with the changes, it's going to make it to where you'll at least get the full 400 for a full completion, and you'll have to actually optimize to be in the top 25 to get that final 400 versus getting only 350. I think that's going to be really good for that. I think the Onyx fragment changes for the tiers is going to be really nice, and I think overall nice and good. Now, I will be putting in some heroics footage here, not like immediately, but we'll talk about another couple of changes that are going to be going on, including well, I'm not going to spoil it until a little bit later in the video. So that's that. You'll also be able to see my improved heroics run, because I'll be really focusing on upgrading my heroics deck really strongly, and you'll be able to see that. So we'll move into the next segment of the video here right now, which is just going to be discussing the next changes that have been going on. Alright, so the final two major changes that will be discussed here are the Onyx Final Form changes and the Onyx combo card changes, specifically the Onyx combo card bundle. So for Onyx Final Form changes from Tiggs, our community manager, new set of changes to improve Onyx Final Forms and make them more viable earlier in the process of collecting fragments. Onyx Final Forms can now be upgraded to level 7. We've improved the scaling of Onyx Final Forms, and starting at level 3, the Onyx Final Forms will now be stronger than the Diamond version. And you can now purchase Onyx Final Form fragments in the shop. So we'll see a couple of those there. So looking at this little chart that Tiggs made for us, looking at the strength changes, so obviously the maximum for a sniper would be 3923. Now it jumps to 4428. And we can see that at level 3, it's a 3721 now for this Onyx sniper. So basically stronger than Diamond there. So it makes them much more viable early on, and it makes it where players can actually use those final forms. So we'll talk a little bit about what my thoughts are on this, but we'll see here now we have this Onyx Final Form Fragment Bundle, or a little pack that's 1,000 gems. You get a random 100 Onyx Final Form fragments of a given Final Form, with each one having a 10% chance. So the final change that we discuss is these Onyx combo card bundles. Watch out for rotating OCC bundles every Tuesday, 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. That can be adjusted based on your time zone in the Discord, which I will plug in the description of this video. If you are not in that Discord, I would encourage you to come by and see it. So that's kind of the big thing here, and yeah, that's really huge. We'll see it here just in a little bit, that we'll see, the Onyx Spirit cards, 25 Diamond upgrade boosts, and 1,000 gems. I'll give my thoughts on this as well when the heroics coverage and everything else is going on, but all in all, just in the long and short of it, it's very expensive. But then we were also left with this final little nugget from Monty. It said, I gotta run, but next time I'm online, talk to me about the Onyx portal. So this is really speculatory, so we'll get into that a little bit later on. So being a numbers guy and all, I really kind of got to the point where I wanted to know the answer to the question of how much dust does someone get in a month? Assuming a couple of things. We're assuming that you play your runes optimally, where you're getting as much as you can out of them. We're assuming that you play your energy appropriately, you play heroics at least once a day, you play nearly all of, if not all of, your arena runes, and yeah, just keep track of all that stuff, which reminds me I probably just need to make sure I not mess up some things when I was recording this video in terms of my inventory. If I did, then I'll just have to re-get some of the silver combo cards, but that won't be too bad. So I took the journey from this whole month of July. Wanted to find out exactly how much dust I get from doing everything. Fighting Dr. Robo like I'm doing right now, doing the portal events, doing heroics, doing arena, and all the daily goblins. And that was another stipulation. You want to make sure you hit all of your daily goblins so you can maximize your reward. So how much did I get? So as you can see, I did accumulate 113,840 gold over the course of the month. As you can see, I'm currently burning it all on diamond upgrade boosts. I should have turned off Do Not Disturb just because, well, it's getting in the way a little bit. So the benchmark that we're starting at is 1,541 dust. I actually had to dust some stuff earlier today, but that was because I had pulled the Mythos pack from earlier to get that food. Onyx, I did not fuse it at the time, just to make sure that I could actually show a complete and accurate representation. So right now I'm going through, actually now more so exclusively dusting my upgrade boosts, which I probably could have done this a little bit more efficiently, but man, I really wish this animation was faster, or if there was like no animation at all. This is even going at double speed, the clip here, so that's insane how it's still going so slow. Well, this is also me just like scrolling to find specifically the upgrade boosts. So like what are all these cards? Like all these cards come from, like I said, Dr. Robo, from the events, with a lot of the upgrade boosts coming from the events, daily deals, goblins, the Cauldron, day 7 Cauldron will also give some stuff. So I just finished up the boosters that I had received from all of this, and it was almost 5,000 dust alone, just based on that. So really what I wanted to aim to do is look at wanted to really look at my heroics deck, and I wanted to make sure that everything I did could help the heroics deck, and probably in part secondary to that, the defense deck, because being where I'm at in arena, the defense deck is super important to make sure I get my stars. And then my heroics deck is, well, just want to make sure that I can progress in heroics because of these changes. So that's something I'm looking forward to as well. So as we're dusting the rest of these cards, I'll kind of give like a final tally for those at some point. And eventually I'll get to the point where I will hit the end of the road, which hopefully is very, very soon, but I don't think it's going to be quite so soon. But it is over 5,000 dust in a month, so you can kind of expect that. Remembering that the total was 1,541 at the beginning there, and still climbing. I think it gets to just over 7,000 if I remember correctly. So it's actually going to be right about 5,500 dust. I know I kind of paused there for a sec just to make sure of everything. So I think it's actually going to be 5,499 dust. That is the exact number, nearly 5,500 dust. And now I'm just going to upgrade a whole bunch of stuff. So what in the world did I think about all of the changes on oh well, I'm just checking some other stuff too. So I'm upgrading and fusing a bunch of things for arena and heroics. So that's what I'm doing right now. So what do I think about the new changes that are going on right now? I think the Onyx final form changes are rather nice. I do think that they are more so geared towards the later game player rather than the older players. So it's a little unfortunate there, but that is just kind of how it works out sometimes. Make sure something there. Good. So first, okay, so I only dusted a couple things there, so that's okay. So with the Onyx final form things, it makes it easier for the new players to use them because, well, you're gonna be doing things like that with your Onyx final forms, using them in heroics, mainly in heroics, but I guess if you don't have packs, you could use them in arena if you needed to. But for the people that got them, they're going to be much more useful. So, for example, for me, I am now going to be running my Sniper and my Banshee Empress in my heroics deck, because the Banshee Empress is a 35-22, which is basically right on par with a whole bunch of the 35 attack critical strikes like Mecha Chinzilla, Demon Puncher, there's Punch Man. Quite a few of those are very useful in this situation. Man, I really wish the the recording could go even faster for that. And then my Sniper is a 34 attack critical strike, which is actually kind of funny because, I mean, not because it's the Onyx Sniper, but it's the first 34 attack critical strike I'm using in heroics. Up until this point, all my critical strikes were 35s or 36s, which probably akins to the amount of whaling I've done, which is quite a bit, but that's kind of just a consequence of the action. So we're about finished upgrading all the cards here. I'm actually going to get one more. I'm going to get one more final form here to fuse for heroics, making my last atomic burrito, but then we'll get into a little bit of a heroics run. So those are kind of my thoughts on the Onyx final forms, is that it's going to almost be better for it's going to be better for everyone, but I think the people who have the final forms is actually going to benefit a little bit more than those at the beginning. But at the beginning, they're actually going to be more useful than what they were. So that's really nice. People like Yoke, I do believe, got his fragments reimbursed, because Jokovic is actually one of the only ones with maxed out Onyx final forms, and he actually had every single one maxed out. He was the only player to have every single maxed out final form. The Onyx final form, I guess I should say. Yeah, so those are kind of my general thoughts. With the Onyx combo card bundles, there's a lot of different veins of thought that I've gotten on this from the community and from people I'm more close to in the community. There are people who say, oh, it's not so bad of a deal because, you know, the chances of you getting the Onyx after like pack 14 on the second pull is pretty high. And it's kind of just like, you know, it's like a 1 in 14 chance, but RNG really tends to mess with people. So I don't think a lot of people understand just how nasty RNG can be. So I think that I personally think the bundle is overpriced, because it's basically the same exact price as buying out the pack twice, and you could always get lucky with your second pull, and you could have a ton of extra gems, even if you were like hell-bent on getting it twice. You could have extra gems. You may not have as much immediate dust, but you would still have both of those Onyx combo cards with a lot less gems used. So you'll have more gems in the reserve, which is always a good thing. And then there's the vein of people is like, oh, you know, it's good because of the, you know, oh, it's gonna take 14. You know, it's just at least guaranteed, and then you don't have to mess with it. Or it's like, say you bought out, like right now it's the Onyx Spirit. Say you bought out the Halloween pack twice already. You already have all those final forms for the archive. So what are you gonna do with the rest of them? Just kind of let them sit there? So that's kind of another indication of maybe you could, but I personally would not recommend it. Yeah, I really think that the price should drop down like maybe 20%, like 15 to 20%, just to make it to where it's like actually a deal and not just like, oh, it's right on par with everything else. So people also suggested to possibly drop the price to like maybe $20 and make it to where you could just get one if you only needed one, so you don't have to get two. Like, I have a few Onyxes I want to fuse, and I'm hoping to get them fused shortly. Hopefully from packs. So, yeah, so that's kind of like my general thoughts and the community's thoughts on the Onyx combo card bundle. And the final thing I kind of want to just speculate on a little bit is the Onyx portal that Monty discussed. I think, and I think a lot of people think, that it is going to be a portal system that has an Onyx combo card in either the loot pool or something like that, which I think would be really exciting, just because, you know, more ways to get Onyx cards, the better, typically. I think it would be much harder, which I think a lot of people are really looking for from Portal, is more of a challenge, because right now with Portal events, like, the final forms you're seeing in Heroics, except for, like, you know, the fact that they're Onyx, like, the fact that Miles just played a final form there, that wouldn't happen in the events, like, activated a final form. So I think that could actually be very useful, like an added challenge to have the Portal events there play fused final forms that actually had activated abilities, and maybe be a little bit stronger on the stat side, rather than basically all of their diamond final forms they played being the equivalent of a of a level 2 diamond final form. So I don't really have much else to say. I think all the changes that are coming now are very positive, and I'm super excited to see what all of the Heroics stuff is, because I've always been one, and along with a whole bunch of other people, that have been really crying for Heroics changes to come at some point, because we just need them. We really needed them, and really great that hopefully we will see them at the end of the month. If you guys have any suggestions for this, other than the fact that there was no background music in this video, because frankly I was really tired when I was recording all of this and trying to put it all together and getting frustrated along the way, so you have your content here. So other than the background music and maybe the faulty scripting and clipping together videos, if you guys have any other tips and tricks or advice or things you want to see, because I've already been in talks with a few people on other things to possibly see. So with all that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night or day, or whenever you're watching this. Again, this is Melman with the Alchemist Duo, and we will see you in the next video.